Hey guys, welcome back to another video for the GS460. So today we're going to be replacing the steering wheel sensor. So we got to take apart the steering wheel, throw that new one on there. Make sure you guys get the OEM parts on there. So I'll throw in the part numbers so you guys can make sure you get the exact one. So if you guys saw in the reveal video for the GS460, you guys would have noticed that my car was throwing some error codes to the dashboard. One of those codes was the steering wheel sensor. So what I ended up finding out is if you have a bad steering wheel sensor, it actually will throw multiple codes: ABS, VGRS, VSC, traction control, all kinds of stuff. So that's the problem I'm having right now. And I already bought an ABS module because I thought that I would have needed that. But from the research that I've been doing, a simple wheel sensor swap would definitely take those off after you do a 0-point calibration on the steering wheel. So we're gonna go and change this out because this part is a lot cheaper than the ABS module or actuator. So if you guys are having those same error codes on your dashboard, make sure you try this one before going out there and buying an ABS actuator like I did. Let's get right to it. I got some of the tools ready to go. So a couple things you're gonna need is a trim removal kit. So it's these plastic pieces right here. I'm gonna be using like one of the small picks right here. That's just to take off the covers for the steering wheel screws. After that, you'll need a 19mm socket to take off the wheel nut, so you can just take off the entire steering wheel. And then you'll need a star screwdriver bit set. So you'll need one of those to take off. And I'll show you guys right now. But this is to take off the steering wheel screws that hold the steering wheel in place on the sides. And then I'm just using good old multi-tool that I got from the Army. Just has like a little screwdriver right there that can take off some of the smaller screws that you guys will need to take out. So the first things we're going to need to do is disconnect the battery. So we're going to disconnect the ground. So let's go and do that first. All right, so we're going to want to disconnect the negative side. So let's go and do that. All right, now that we got that done and disconnected, we're going to go back inside and we're going to start taking apart the steering wheel so that we can mount that new steering sensor. Let's go. So on the side of the steering wheel, you're going to want to remove these covers with the trim removal kit. So right here you can see the star screwdriver bit that you're going to need, which is the one on top right there. Same thing on this side as well. You're going to want to remove this cover here. Alright, you guys want to be careful on removing these because these will break. My car is a 2008, so it's very brittle when it comes to little parts like this. I ended up snapping this one, as you can see right there. But I mean, it sits flush, so you'll never notice it. Maybe I'll buy a new one later on if I get around to it. I don't know. But now we're going to be using the star screwdriver, so that way we can remove those screws in there and pull that out. Okay, so now that you got those screws removed, you can literally just take the airbag off. Just be careful because there is 3 connectors holding that steering wheel together. You have the ground and then 2 connectors for the buttons. So when you take it off, just be careful with it. You can flip it around so that way you can see what you're working on right here. So those are 2 connectors you're going to want to disconnect, and then you have your ground right there on the bottom. So you just want to pop these up like so with a little pick. This is why the multi-tool comes in use. Just be very careful. Just pop those up. Boom. So now we remove those. There's a little tab here on the ground you're just going to want to pull up on, and it'll slide out.
That's what she said. Michael,
there you go. Now you have the airbag removed. Be careful with it, don't toss it around. So now I'll show you guys the inside of here so that way you guys can see what screws you need to take off. All right, so your steering wheel should look like this now. You have a bunch of the connectors. What we're gonna do now is disconnect all of these cables here. When you disconnect these cables, make sure you don't pull it on the wires. You wanna make sure you pull on the connector side of it, so that way it comes out in a hole. So we're gonna take those off right now. So now that we have disconnected all of the cables here, we're gonna go ahead and remove the steering wheel nut. So you wanna grab your 19mm socket, go ahead and take that off. Okay guys, so now that we have loosened up that nut that's holding the steering wheel, I'm not going to take it completely off because when I'm taking the steering wheel off, I don't want to hit myself in the face. I would hate for you guys to do that, and then you have to explain to your girlfriend you got in a fight with the steering wheel and the steering wheel won.
Wait, first of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
So we're going to go ahead and leave it on there for a couple threads. We're just going to rock it back and forth to see when it'll pop out, and then we can yank it out. Boom, you guys saw that? So now we have some wiggle room. Let's go ahead and take off. Let's go ahead and take this off. Boom. Careful with these connectors. You don't want to mess those up. Boom. Okay, so now what we're seeing here is the clock spring. Very technical with this, but basically this allows you so many turns left and so many turns right. So we want to make sure that this is completely straight. And I'll show you guys here. So as you can see, it has like the little circle inside. So you want to make sure that that is correct. If you guys are worried that it's not centered, because like, you know, you can turn this and it'll go right back to it, but you got to make sure you have, see it says on here 5 turns. So you're going to have 2.5 turns to the left, 2.5 turns to the right. So if you guys want to make sure that it is completely straight, you guys can go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and leave that, but we're going to remove this. So we need to take off these screws, remove this panel here, so that way we can disconnect all these cables and then we can take it out. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we need to pop these out, so go ahead and use your trim removal tool. So you're gonna go like right around here, if you can like separate a little bit. Okay, so now that we remove those screws, you're gonna wanna get a little pick or a flat head and just remove these little tabs here. And you also have a little screw right here on the very bottom you're gonna wanna remove. So that way you're able to just take this off. Like so, and you could just leave it there. All you really need is space just to remove these cables, but it just literally just pops right out. So we're gonna leave that there, and let's go ahead and remove these one by one. Okay, now that we have the connectors all off, there's going to be 3 tabs, one on the top, one on the side right here, if you can see that, and then same adjacent side right there. So we're going to go ahead and just pop those off. Boom. Okay, so now that we popped off those tabs, you can take off the clock spring, and there is the wheel sensor right on the back. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect that. Now we have the old sensor, we have the new one. As you can see, it's the same part number. Let's go ahead and throw this one back on there, and let's finish up this setup. The clock spring is centered, so we're gonna go ahead and put this back on there, and this will just clip back on. So you'll be able to hear it click, just like that. So now let's put it all back together. Okay, we got the screws back on there. There's one on the bottom right here as well you're gonna wanna put back. Just make sure all this is flush before you start screwing stuff in there. Yeah, I messed it up a little bit, but so what? So now that that is done, we're gonna put the steering wheel back on here. Just be cognizant of these cables here. Make sure you thread them through and they don't get damaged. Okay, we were able to fish through the connectors and make sure that it was straight. Now we're going to secure this bolt in there. Okay. All right, guys, we're almost done here. Last thing is going to be the airbag. We're going to put those cables back in there, ground it, and the steering wheel will look back to normal. All right, guys, I got it back on, screwed it on the sides, make sure everything fitted, make sure I got all of the connectors plugged in. We are going to go ahead and end the video here. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you guys on the next video. Make sure you guys comment down below what mods you guys want to see me do. Besides all this maintenance stuff, I'm tired of doing maintenance. I want to do the real modifications, coilovers, performance mods, you name it. So drop down below what you guys want to see. All right, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.